Personalities burn bright in football. The gladiators. The bright young stars. The cool dudes. And the not-so-cool dudes. We love them all, no matter what. But do they all get the respect they deserve? That's the burning issue. Every generation has its gladiators, and Italy had one of the greatest. But did Roma pay Totti the respect he deserved? For footballers born with a warrior's heart, quitting is never easy. Francesco Totti, the Roma champion known as Il Gladiatore, struggled for years to come to terms with his football mortality. The give-up gene just wasn't in his DNA. Even when he knew the legs and lungs couldn't carry him as far anymore, he didn't know how to admit it to the world. Let's get one thing clear here. Few sporting heroes earn the right to leave on their own terms, but Totti was one of them. The ultimate one-club hero, who made his debut with Roma in 1993 at the age of 16. Not just the game's record holder for Roma, but more than 200 ahead. Not just the goals record holder, but more than double anyone else. So Francesco Totti paid his dues. Roma manager Luciano Spalletti knew it, even though he and Totti had been known to have the odd dispute from time to time. But club sporting director Monchi didn't know it. Yes, this is Monchi at his first Roma media conference, bearing a striking resemblance to Spalletti. They obviously like the bearded and bald look at Roma. Anyway, Monchi took it upon himself to announce the departure of the greatest player in club history.
Yo llevo aquí he llegado hace una semana.
I arrived here a week ago, and all that I knew about him and all I heard is that a decision was already taken, and there was a deal that this year would have been the conclusion of his career as a Roma player, and that he will start working with the club in a non-playing role.
Here's a tip, Monchi. Club greats deserve a media conference of their own to announce the close of their career. You might be a so-called transfer guru, but pull that bearded and bald head in. That wonderful Italian Claudio Ranieri said it best.
Roma è Totti e Totti è la Roma.
Did Totti stay too long? And how does a club decide when a champion's use-by date is up? That's next on The Burning Issue. The end comes to everybody, but not everybody gets to go out the way they want, like Sir Stanley Matthews. Some, like Barcelona's Lionheart, Carles Puyol, play beyond the pain barrier. And when the time comes to quit, they aren't fit enough to get through a farewell game. But Barcelona at least did the right thing by Puyol, by letting him make his own announcement on retirement.
Thank you very much for being here today. I am here to tell you that at the end of the season, I will cease being a player of FC Barcelona.
And then weeks later, all the other greats of the club gathered to formally say goodbye. Francesco Totti's farewell tributes have since been heartfelt, and his place in Roma legend is assured. It's just that first announcement in May 2017 they got horribly wrong. When they let a guy who'd only been in town a week and had spent most of his life in Spain at Sevilla, tell the world that Totti was finished. Especially seeing Luciano Spalletti had spent the whole year deflecting questions on when his use-by date was up.
Essendo nel momento più importante della sua carriera.
He is in the middle of the most important moment of his career. And because he is so involved with Roma, he wants to wait until the end of the season and stay silent for now. And that is to keep the focus on the remaining matches, I think.
Spalletti's first stint as Roma manager from 2005 to 2009 had coincided with the peak of Totti's career. But when he returned midway through the 2015-16 season, after the sacking of manager Rudi Garcia, things were vastly different. The Gladiator was approaching 40 and spent 3 months out with a hip flexor injury. He publicly criticized Spalletti for lack of game time on his return, so the manager dropped him as punishment, causing uproar from fans. Spalletti had once said, "It would be easier to move the Colosseum out of Rome than to move Totti out of Roma." So his inspired compromise was to turn Totti into a super sub. For 5 games in a row towards the end of the season, Totti came off the bench and scored 4 goals and an assist. The highlight was against Torino, with Roma a goal down in the 86th minute when Totti took to the pitch. He scored twice in 3 minutes, at 39, the oldest brace in Serie A history.
Il gol di Francesco è un gol che fa un campione.
Only a real champion can score the goal that Totti scored tonight. It took him only 15 seconds to score. He ran past all the Torino defenders and held himself by the back post, knowing the ball would arrive there. Only real champions have that sort of intuition. It was like he was radio-controlled. He is unique. Only Totti can score in such a way.
Though Totti had redefined the use of substitutions, the time on the bench grew longer. When Monchi spilled the beans, Totti had made just 5 starts for the season and averaged less than 15 minutes per game. Discussion on when the King of Rome should abdicate spread through Europe.
Totti, I'm always amazed at what he's done. He's done great things for football. A great footballer. He has had a long career, but he can still bring a lot to the side. Totti is a phenomenon, for real. He must play until he's 50. I told him, Francesco, I pray, don't leave football, because if you do, I will be bored to death.
Ah, Diego, you gotta love him. And you gotta love Francesco Totti too, the gladiator, the king of Rome. She wants to be the best, but does she have the right ingredients? What will it take for Alex Morgan to reach greatness? Team USA's Alex Morgan is a phenomenon. Her speed earned her the nickname Baby Horse when she was younger. And her knack for scoring goals has seen her become a force in international women's football. She was on the USA team that won Olympic gold at London when she was only 23, and in 2015 added a World Cup victory to her record. And being the glamour girl that she is, Morgan has become something of a face for the sport. But she's not settling. In early 2017, Morgan made the shift to France to join Olympique Lyonnais. And it wasn't just to get experience with a different flavor of football.
I definitely want to be the best player that I feel that I'm capable of, and that includes being the best in the world, ranked by FIFA.
So Morgan wants to be remembered as the best. Let's repeat, she is brilliant. But does she have the ingredients to go further? If Morgan wants to go down in history with the likes of legendary teammates Carly Lloyd and Abby Wambach, she'll need to inspire as a leader. It's an important time, too. With the USA's disappointing performance at the Rio Olympics, the new generation of players needs to step up and inherit their roles towards Tokyo 2020. Wambach, who retired back in 2015, is a particularly interesting comparison. When the US lost the World Cup in 2011, listen to her desire to rectify things.
You're damn right I need it. You know, it's all that I'm thinking about. It's all that's on my mind. It's the thing that I haven't been able to be a part of. I haven't won yet. And it's something that I know all of us have to be willing to be forever disappointed in not winning, because that's what it takes. You have to completely give into it.
You get up and project with that much passion, this happens.
We won the World Cup, baby!
Wambach and Lloyd led their squad to a victory for the ages over Japan in the 2015 final. Morgan is just a little more reserved in nature, so does she have the capacity for such rousing calls to arms? Her heart's in the right place, often using her profile for social change. Here at a young women's conference.
I'm excited to be able to do things like this and inspire young women and see them take control of their future, of their present, and really just try and be a good role model for people.
And yes, that's lovely. Now check out what Wambach said about the team's uncanny ability to claw back from behind and score goals during the London Olympic campaign.
We exemplify a lot of what the American people are going through right now with the economy and all the things and the hardships that they're going through. I think that the fact that we're willing to fight no matter what's thrown at us, no matter how many times we fall down, we're all still willing to get up, even if it's in the face of failure.
Time will tell if Morgan can leave her mark as one of the game's greatest. But if she wants to get there, she'll need to bring others with her. And she'd do well to borrow from the leadership styles of those that have come before her. After the break, he says he's normal, but everybody loves Jürgen. And Harry is one of a kind. When Jürgen Klopp stepped into the hot seat at Liverpool in October 2015, this was his message to the faithful.
So I'm a totally normal guy. I'm the normal one, maybe, if you want this. Yeah.
It was a none too subtle poke at Jose Mourinho when he'd taken over as Chelsea manager in 2004 and referred to himself as the special one. Although he claimed to be normal, this kind of spark proved not only that Germans can have a sense of humour, but that Klopp was bringing something special to the Premier League. Liverpool legend Kevin Keegan saw it immediately.
They expect you to go after teams. You're at home. This is Anfield. This is where we play. You don't come here and get an easy time. We're going to make it difficult for you. And I think Jürgen Klopp's a perfect fit for Liverpool now because he has that sort of character that the fans can relate to. You see a goal go in, yes, he's with the players.
The Klopp charm offensive on the British press began from the moment he stepped onto the aisle.
And now I'm here, and I hope to enjoy my work. I hope, because all the people told me so much about the British press and so on, so it's up to you to show me that they're all liars.
This kind of banter was so welcome in the modern PR-filtered wet blanket environment. And while he has fun with it all, he's no fool. This was shown in 2016 when fielding the usual questions from the rumor mill of potential player transfers.
You live here longer than myself, and you know that 99% of all the things in the newspaper are only 1% true. So that's not the best, I would say. Yeah, I'm not all newspapers, sorry.
Such is Klopp's finesse that just when you think he's offended his audience, he brings them back in to eat out of his hands.
That's how it is. It's a funny game, obviously, but I'm not too much interested, and we do our work. And when we have something to say, I swear you are the first. You all are the first who will know about it.
How can you be mad at that? The swagger is backed up by an impressive record. Klopp took over as manager of German club Mainz in 2001, where he steered the ship for 7 years. He jumped to Borussia Dortmund in 2008, and only 2 seasons later, claimed back-to-back Bundesliga titles and a DFB Pokal trophy. Eventually, Klopp's time at Dortmund ended after several seasons of declining performance. His arrival at Liverpool didn't produce magic either. But even after having his appendix out towards the end of his first season with the Reds, and staring down the barrel of a disappointing 8th place finish, Klopp was irrepressible.
Don't worry, everything is okay. No, I'm really fine. I feel good, and since my appendix is out, I'm new, nearly new, so everything is good. Yeah, I've happened a lot of things, since I'm here. 50 games is, how I said, usually you need 1.5 seasons.
Let's not get too carried away into thinking he's some kind of Zen Buddhist who avoids all conflict. In 2017 at the Merseyside derby, when Liverpool beat Everton, Klopp's rival manager, Ronald Koeman, accused the Liverpool coaching box of being hostile towards his players and ranting overzealously for red cards to be dealt. Koeman made a point of saying it was Klopp's staff that behaved like ratbags rather than the manager himself. But it was still an inadvertent swipe at his adversary for not keeping tighter reins. He asked,
"Please behave a little bit more."
As only Klopp can, he waved a hand over the situation and made all well again.
So in Germany, it's nicer. We sit together here. And then if he would say something, I could immediately react. What do you mean? So now it's a little bit difficult. It's like hearsay for me. So he didn't tell anything to me. We shake hands after the game. And so I think it's not my job to speak about him. My stuff is fine.
This kind of charisma surely makes Klopp more than just a normal guy. He's rough around the edges, but he gets the job done. Harry Redknapp is a different kind of special. If there seems to be a trail of gold dust that follows Jürgen Klopp around, a manager with a different lasting effect is London native Harry Redknapp. Harry is possibly the least fussy manager in the game. Taking on teams in the Premier League, the lower tiers, the Middle East, he'll take them all. And he has a knack for getting the most out of floundering teams. Seen when he was called in to catch Birmingham at the death knell of the 2016-17 season. He also applied his magic touch at Queen's Park Rangers from 2012 to 2015. Only 2 months after taking the reins, and while QPR was sitting on the bottom of the table, Redknapp led his lads to victory over Chelsea, who were then reigning European champions. It was QPR's first win at Stamford Bridge since 1979. But it was also a time in which the boss showed he doesn't mince words. In 2014, he had this nurturing assessment of midfielder Adel Taarabt's form.
No, he's not fit. He's not fit to play football, unfortunately. He played in a reserve game the other day, and I could have run about more than he did.
Just in case anyone thought it was a momentary lapse in composure, that surely a manager of a major club couldn't be so candid, he made sure everyone understood him perfectly.
Can't keep protecting people who don't want to run about and train and about 3 stone overweight. What am I supposed to keep saying? Keep getting your 60, 70 grand a week and don't train? What's the game coming to?
But you know what? That's Harry. While Taarabt publicly denounced the comments and took to social media to try and prove weight wasn't his issue, eventually, as only Harry can, he got results.
No, he came to see me on Monday morning. Wanted to see me on Monday for a chat. Had a great chat with him. He came in and said that he admitted he needed to get fitter. wants to get fit, wants to play, wants to get back in the team. That's all I need to hear from him.
While he might be rough around the edges, you just can't help but love the guy for his lack of pretense. His assessment of England's ongoing woes in international competition is a thing of beauty.
You know, when they're away with England, whether they spend too much time away, sitting in their rooms, bored, nothing to do, can't go out, there's fans everywhere, they can't go and have a walk even. So I just wonder whether that's, you know, part of the problem when they go and play for their countries, these players, and it's something they're not used to doing.
Maybe that is the stroke of genius everyone needs to hear. The players are bored. No blaming salaries or lack of supplements in their diets or any of that rubbish. Harry understands the headspace of the average young English geezer. Harry's charm hasn't always been received so favourably, though. He once had 7 mainly happy years at West Ham until sacked for criticising the club chairman in a fanzine. Then at Portsmouth, where he achieved a Division 1 championship. Conflict with the boss was again an issue, this time prompting his resignation. After a brief stint at Southampton, he returned to Portsmouth to claim the FA Cup in 2008. And herein lies another of Harry's dilemmas. See, Redknapp was headhunted by Tottenham after the Cup win. Although they'd only claimed 2 points in the 8 games before he got there, he dragged Spurs up to a strike rate of 49% and got them 2 top 4 finishes during his time. However, when Spurs got a bit of swagger to their gait, they apparently thought the more refined Andre Villas-Boas was better up front. But you know what? Harry's not the type to let that kind of fancy-pants stuff bother him too much. We saw this again when, after leaving QPR in 2016 and taking on a role as Jordan's national coach, Redknapp was just stoked to be there.
So, you know, when this opportunity came, I didn't hesitate. It wasn't a case of, I didn't ask how much you're going to pay me, are you going to pay me, I just said, yeah, I would love to come.
It's this rough-edged love of the game that also makes Harry Redknapp a very special part of football's story. Still to come, Italy is famous for cannelloni, rigatoni, and Luca Toni. Our earlier story on Francesco Totti focused on his club heroics. But he also played in Italy's World Cup victory of 2006. Which means he will be forever linked with another Italian striker who took a very different journey to the Gladiator. While Totti was shaking hands with the Italian Prime Minister after the World Cup, Luca Toni was doing this. Yep, Toni always did enjoy a good laugh. Handsome, popular, but just a little bit flawed. Whenever he was around, funny things just seemed to happen. While Totti projected an air of authority, his partner in Italy's front half was more a funster, with a flair for theatrics, as he made sure referees knew just how nasty those defenders could be. And while Totti played only with Roma, Toni was the ultimate contrast, playing for 15 clubs, including 8 in Serie A, and, at the height of fame after the World Cup, 3 seasons in the Bundesliga with Bayern Munich. He was the Bundesliga's top scorer in 2007-08, and a key part of Bayern's Bundesliga, DFB Pokal, and DFB Ligapokal treble. A late bloomer, he was twice Serie A leading scorer, with Fiorentina in 05-06, and at the age of 38, with Verona in 2014-15. The oldest ever winner of the Serie A Golden Boot. Toni's contribution to Italy's World Cup win was undeniable. He scored a treble against Belarus in qualifying and a brace against Ukraine in the quarter-final. And together with Totti, he was named in the FIFA World Cup All-Star team. The pair played together at club level for just 15 games at Roma, when Toni was on loan after leaving Bayern. But they were linked again in 2016, when Totti's 600th game was celebrated on the same day as Toni's final game. The Funster went out in style, scoring a Panenka penalty against Serie A champions Juventus. He said it was the most beautiful goal of my career. Totti played 25 years with the one club. Toni played 22 years with 15 clubs. They are both Italian treasures.